You are stuck in traffic. Thousands of cars. Thousands of people. The highway stretching ahead feels almost infinite. Now imagine that same stretch of land 74,000 years ago. Same geography, same sky. But almost no people. Not because they were somewhere else, but because there were almost none left. At one point, every human alive on Earth could have fit inside a small town. And the question is not why there were so few. The question is how any of us got here at all. It is 74,000 years ago. You are living in a small group somewhere in Africa. Things are hard, but manageable. You have fire. You track animals. You are surviving. Then one morning the sky turns a color with no good explanation. 9,000 kilometers away, a mountain called Toba in Sumatra has just detonated. 5,000 times more powerful than Mount St. Helens. Within hours, sulfur dioxide floods the upper atmosphere. Sunlight bounces back into space. Global temperatures drop 3 to 5 degrees Celsius and stay there for up to 10 years. That does not just make things colder. It collapses food systems. Grasslands thin out. Animals starve where they stand. Every predator that was ignoring you now has nothing else to eat. Here is where it gets interesting. Toba's ash layer has been found in soil across India, the Arabian Sea, and East Africa, 9,000 kilometers from the eruption. One mountain, multiple continents touched. Geneticist Lynn Jord at the University of Utah found what this did to us inside our own DNA. His team identified a bottleneck, a point where human genetic diversity nearly flatlines. Their estimate, the entire species collapsed to between 1,000 and 10,000 individuals. Read that again, because it matters. That is the capacity of a mid-size concert venue, every human being on Earth. And mitochondrial DNA shows every person alive today traces back to one surviving group, in Africa. Just one. Where they chose to stand is probably why you exist. Now here is what nobody expected. Archaeologist Curtis Marian excavated caves at Pinnacle Point on the South African coast, dated directly to this survival window. Inside, systematic shellfish collection. Mussels and limpets, eaten in repeating patterns. Unlike large game, shellfish do not migrate. They sit on rocks at low tide and wait. Not the most dignified chapter in human history, but it worked. Here is the part that changes things. Toba was not the first time. In 2023, geneticist Haipeng Li published a study in Nature revealing a bottleneck far older, around 900,000 years ago, where pre-human ancestors collapsed to roughly 1,280 breeding individuals, and stayed there for 117,000 years. By modern conservation standards, your ancestors were more endangered than the giant panda has ever been. The panda got international breeding programs and global media coverage. Your ancestors got terrain, time, and stubbornness. The result of passing through those two survival windows, all 8 billion humans today are genetically more similar to each other than two chimpanzees in the same forest. Every person alive is biologically part of one family. Back to that traffic jam. Every person in every car around you carries the same narrow thread. The genes that made it through the dark years, through shellfish meals on a cold coast with no way of knowing if the sky would ever clear. You are not here because your species was the most powerful thing on Earth. You are here because a handful of people stood near the right ocean at the right moment and held on. The mammoths did not make it. The Neanderthals did not make it. You did twice, and both times barely. If this is the kind of history you want more of, subscribing genuinely helps. Next time, who the Neanderthals really were, and why the answer is more personal than most people expect. But for now, knowing that every human alive shares the same survival thread, what does that actually change about how you see the people around you?